All right, so good evening. This is Watchdog News Report, January 21st, 2025. We're going to talk about Trump's first day, executive orders, economic shifts, and global conflicts. So, welcome back to Watchdog News Report. I'm Jared Wesley Campbell, reporting for Watchdog Ministries. Whether you're turning in for the first time or a returning viewer, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and also on TikTok. Tonight's coverage is packed with political, economic, and global developments. We'll break down President Trump's first executive orders, discuss economic and climate concerns, and examine global conflicts between Ukraine and Taiwan. You ready to dive in? I know I am. So, U.S. breaking news. Trump's first day back. Executive orders and policy shifts. We know on January 20th, 2025, Donald J. Trump officially returned to the White House as the 47th President of the United States of America. His first executive orders focus on border security, energy independence, economic deregulation, and also foreign policy. Border security and immigration, Executive Order 1, Secure the Border Initiative. What does this mean? It resumes construction of the southern border wall. It reinstates remain in Mexico for asylum seekers, deploys National Guard units to reinforce border patrol. The economic and social impact. Supporters argue it will reduce illegal immigration costs and ease job competition for American workers. Critics warn of economic harm to industries dependent on immigrant labor. Okay. Number 2, energy and deregulation. Executive Order number 2, American First Energy Revival. What does it mean? Lifts restrictions on drilling and fracking on federal lands. Withdraws the U.S. from Biden-era international climate agreements. Greenlights the Keystone XL pipeline. Ooh, it's big. Economic and climate impact. Oil prices fell 6% due to expectations of increased U.S. production, easing inflation. Environmental groups claim this will increase CO2 emissions and climate risk. Renewable energy sector, including solar and EV manufacturers, saw a 3 to 5% stock decline. Number 3, trade and tariff policy. Executive Order number 3, America First Trade Protection. What does it mean? Reinstate tariffs on Chinese imports, targeting steel, semiconductors, and electronics. Ends federal subsidies for electronic vehicles, EVs, citing market distortions. Calls for renegotiation of trade agreements with Europe and Canada. The market reaction. The Dow Jones surged 500 points, benefiting U.S. manufacturing and fossil fuel companies. Huge, right? Get straight to the facts, right? China retaliated, right, with tariffs on U.S. agriculture and tech exports, impacting farmers and companies like Apple. Number 4, okay, economic stimulus and deregulation. Executive Order number 4, Make America Prosperous Again. What does this mean? Lowers corporate tax rates 15%. Right? Eliminates federal ESG, environmental, social, and governance investment mandates. Suspends student loan forgiveness programs. Economic concerns. The federal deficit will rise by $2 trillion over the next decade. Supporters say it will boost business investments, but critics argue it is disproportionately benefits the wealthy. Right? Some other key points, some takeaway, right, with Trump. The U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization, January 20th, 2025. Executive Order overview. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to withdraw the U.S. from the World Health Organization, the WHO. This is the second attempt to exit the WHO after President Joe Biden reversed a similar move in 2020. So, addressing alleged mismanagement. So, the objectives of the withdrawal. The administration justified the withdrawal by citing WHO's handling of the global health crisis, particularly during COVID-19. Reducing U.S. financial contributions. The U.S. aims to halt funding which previously accounted for about 18% of the WHO's budget, to reallocate resources to other health initiatives, reassessing global health partnership. The plan seek to seek alternative organizations for global health efforts previously managed with the WHO. Implications of the withdrawal. Global health impact. A funding shortfall could weaken the WHO's ability to address health emergencies to fight diseases like HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and also malaria. Geopolitical consequences. Experts warn that the withdrawal may reduce U.S. influence in global health governance, potentially allowing China to expand its role within the WHO. Domestic reactions. The decision has sparked debate, right? With concerns that leaving the WHO could undermine global and national health security. Right? Withdrawal process. A 12-month notice period is required for the U.S. withdrawal. During this time, the U.S. will cease financial contributions and recall affiliated personnel. The timeline allows for potential policy reassessments and alternative international health collaborations. Let's go on to another key point. President Trump's FEMA policy and Project 2025. Okay. Inauguration and initial actions. On January 20, 2025, Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. On the first day of office, he signed multiple executive orders and dismissed FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. Project 2025 and FEMA reforms. Proposed structural changes. Project 2025 aims to shift most of FEMA's preparedness and response costs to state and local governments. Reduction of federal support. The plan eliminates most Department of Homeland Security's DHS grant programs that fund disaster response efforts. Experts' concerns. Disaster preparedness specialists warn that these changes could weaken FEMA's ability to respond to emergencies effectively. Clarification on FEMA's role. Okay. Misconceptions addressed. Experts confirm that while FEMA is not being eliminated, its role may be significantly altered under the proposed reforms. Okay. Columbia University's National Center of Disaster Preparedness Director clarified that FEMA would continue to exist, but with a different scope. Okay. Misinformation and public response. 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. False claims circulated that FEMA blocked aid shipments and seized goods, leading to public confusion. All right. Other sources say, including PBS, NewsHour, fact-checked and clarified the misinformation regarding FEMA's operations. Interesting. Ongoing debate. While President Trump has been in the office for only 1 day, Project 2025's FEMA reforms continue to generate debate over their potential impact on disaster response capabilities. Climate and disaster report. Right? North Carolina flooding. State of emergency has been declared. Right? Storms have left parts of North Carolina underwater, displacing over 30,000 residents. Governor Roy Cooper declared the state of emergency, requesting federal disaster relief. The economic losses are estimated at $4.5 billion, with the agriculture and housing sectors being the hardest hit. The California wildfires, worst in years, right? The fires have scorched over 500,000 acres, fueled by record drought conditions. Trump's FEMA response plan is already facing criticism for delays. Imagine that, right? We've already kind of talked about that, right? It's already facing criticism. Wow. Climate scientists warn these fires are part of a long-term warming trend. They don't say. Threw that in there for fun. Let's move on to the World Report, global conflicts and economic struggles. So Russia and Ukraine war, right? Trump's policy shift creates uncertainty for some, right? According to the RAND report, so I threw some of my RAND report research in here for tonight. So according to the RAND report, RRA 3400-1, Trump's decision to freeze U.S. aid to Ukraine could alter the course of the war. Kiev warns of increased Russian aggression, with Putin signaling renewed offensives in Donetsk in Ukraine. European nations are scrambling to provide additional military aid. I bet they are, right? Here's a RAND report analysis from my research. The NATO burden sharing debate gains urgency as Trump reassesses the U.S. commitments. So China and Taiwan tensions are escalating. They sure are. So China has responded to Trump's new tariffs with military drills near Taiwan. Woo, wow. Yep. So the Taipei increased defense spending, securing a $10 billion arms deal with the U.S. The RAND report connection. Ukraine struggle mirrors Taiwan's potential vulnerabilities. Damn. Wow. You heard it from me. Let's move on to the Israel conflict, right? So the Israel-Hamas conflict, a new U.S. approach. The Gaza conflict continues with Israeli airstrikes increasing response to Hamas rocket attacks. The Trump administration is reconsidering military aid, making sure they prioritize diplomatic mediation. Here's a RAND report analysis, and it suggests that the U.S. strategic shifts in Ukraine could embolden Iran-backed groups in the region. Global economic and climate struggles. All right. Economic pressures. Oil prices rose 8%, driven by Trump's energy policies. Interesting. China's economy slowed, with GDP growth expected to drop below 4% due to U.S. tariffs. European markets fell 2% as concerns over transatlantic trade tensions continue to grow. Climate risk and economic costs. According to the RAND report, the CPA 614-2 links climate disasters. Listen attentively. Let me say this again. The RAND report CPA 614-2 links climate disasters to economic instability, warning of rising insurance premiums and infrastructure failures. All a game plan. Food shortages loom as Ukraine's grain exports slow, driving higher prices in Africa and also the Middle East. Renewable energy investments decline as Trump is prioritizing fossil fuel development. I'm going to close out with some key points, right? U.S. intelligence, military, economic, and geopolitical developments under Trump's second term. Number one, the U.S. intelligence leaks and the deep state resistance. Concerns over Trump's foreign policy. Reports indicate resistance from the federal bureaucracy, deep state, against Trump's national security policies. Intelligence leaks suggest concerns over Trump's approach to NATO, Russia, and China. Share out this video. Declassified NSA and CIA documents show analysts prepared for policy reversals weeks before Trump took office. Potential internal opposition. Speculation arises over a possible shadow campaign within the U.S. intelligence to undermine Trump's foreign policy. A RAND report suggests the U.S. military-industrial complex will always benefit from prolonged conflict in Ukraine, contradicting Trump's anti-interventionist stance. Interesting. Military leadership changes. Analysts suggest that Trump may fire or sideline military leaders who resist his foreign policy, similar to Nixon's Pentagon battles in the 1970s. Number two, U.S. military readiness and defense overhaul. Executive order on military readiness. Trump signed Executive Order 5, restoring America's military readiness, initiating a full audit of U.S. military stockpiles. Concerns rise over depleted weapons reserves due to conflicts in Ukraine, Taiwan, and also Israel. Strategic readiness risks. The RAND report says the Ukraine war exposed gaps in NATO's logistics supply chains and ammunition stockpiles. The Pentagon memos. Internal reports warn that a potential Taiwan-China war in 2026 could critically strain the U.S. military reserves. Wow. Internal reports warn that a potential Taiwan-China war in 2026 could critically strain U.S. military reserves. Potential conflict with Iran. Some Pentagon insiders speculate Trump's military buildup could increase tensions with Iran over its influence in Syria and the Red Sea. AI warfare and cyber threats, a silent global arms race. I think so. The rise of AI-driven warfare. Trump's decision to freeze specific NATO commitments coincides with China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, accelerating AI warfare capabilities. The RAND report indicates AI-powered cyber warfare is now a more significant threat than nuclear conflict. Let me say that again. The RAND report says that AI-powered cyber warfare is now more of a significant threat than nuclear conflict. Let that sink in. China is deploying swarm AI drone fleets capable of independent attack decisions, which have been tested in the South China Sea. Russia. Cyber units are probing U.S. infrastructure and reportedly conducting test cyber attacks on Texas and New York power grids. Wow. Cybersecurity risks. U.S. officials warn that Trump's rollback of international cybersecurity agreements could leave the U.S. vulnerable to Russian and Chinese cyber attacks. Trump's executive order on Bitcoin and financial warfare. Crypto as a national security concern. Trump signed an executive order investigating crypto-backed economic warfare. Concerns arise as China and Russia stockpile digital currencies to bypass U.S. sanctions. Iran using cryptocurrency to fund operations in Syria, Hezbollah, and Hamas. The RAND financial report says decentralized digital finance could weaken U.S. dollar dominance. Wow. Do research, huh? Trump's financial crackdown on crypto may be an effort to reinsert U.S. dollar supremacy in global economy, trending toward de-dollarization. Economic instability and market concerns. Looming recession warnings. Despite initial market optimism over Trump's tax cuts, major financial institutions warn of economic instability. Key concerns. Trump's corporate tax cuts could add $2 trillion to the deficit, pressuring the Federal Reserve to maintain high interest rates. J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs predict a 2025-2026 recession fueled by global trade instability. Energy analysts warn of potential oil and gas price due to Trump's deregulation policies to go up. That's what they're saying. Global economic fallout. Trump's America First policy could accelerate debt crises in developing nations dependent on U.S. financial stability. Geopolitical power shifts, the winners and losers under Trump's policies. I kind of put this together. So, Russia, right? Russia gains strategic leverage as Trump reassesses NATO funding, okay? China may push harder on Taiwan while prioritizing trade deals over military conflict. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, expect major arms deals under Trump's renewed military strategies. Those are some of the winners. Nations facing setbacks. Ukraine faces a collapse. So Ukraine faces a collapse risk if NATO aid diminishes. Germany and the EU may have to increase defense spending or negotiate with Russia. Iran could face economic struggles if Trump reinstates maximum pressure sanctions. European nations may explore defense alliances outside NATO, possibly strengthen military ties with China. Final thoughts. What lies ahead for the U.S. and the world? Trump's second term is rapidly reshaping America's global role. U.S. military readiness faces critical challenges, particularly in Ukraine, Taiwan, and the Middle East. AI-driven conflicts and cyber warfare may redefine global security faster than nuclear threats. The dominance of the U.S. dollar is under pressure as crypto and global trade dynamics evolve. Here's a big question. Will Trump's policies dictate the future, or will global reaction shape America's next chapter? That includes today's Watchdog News report. In just days, Trump's executive actions have already begun reshaping U.S. policy, with far-reaching economic, political, and global consequences. Markets react positively, but concerns over inflation, tariffs, and long-term stability remain. Global tensions rise as Russia, China, and Iran adjust their new strategies in response to U.S. policy shifts. Disaster costs escalate, with record-breaking wildfires and floods testing America's emergency response capabilities. Stay informed, stay prepared, like always. Like, share, and subscribe to Watchdog Ministries for real-time updates. Follow us on Facebook and also on TikTok for more exclusive reports. I'm Jared Wesley Campbell. Stay vigilant and always stay informed. I love you all so much. Never, ever hold back. Seek truth. It's Jared Wesley Campbell. Watchdog Ministries, Watchdog News Report. Signing off. I'm out.